In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a stem and leaf plot and a split stem and leaf plot in Excel. The data is already here in our Excel sheet. This comes from the case study in chapter 2, and it's on page 86 and 87 in your textbook there. Okay. The first thing we want to do when we make our stem and leaf plot is we need to know the minimum and the maximum, and there's a really quick way to do this in Excel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this entire column of data here, and there it all is. And I'm going to come up here to data, and then over here you see the A to Z with the down arrow. This is going to sort my data in the column from the smallest to the largest. And now you can see that 16 is my smallest number, and then the numbers increase as we go until we get to the highest, and that would be 40. So when I go to make my stems, I'm just going to come over here, and we'll put the stems in this column. I need to be sure and have a 1 for a stem, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and I don't need any others because this data doesn't go above 40. All right, over here, these will be the leaves, and we'll just start with our data. We've got, going with the 1 stem, we've got 6, so there's a 16. All right, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 21s. So we need a 1, 2, 3. There's our 3 21s. And we've got 1, 2, 3 23s. Okay, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 24s. And then we've got 3 26s. And then for 27s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. All right, and then let's see. Twenty-eights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 28s, and already you can see that this is going ridiculously off to the side here, so a split stem is going to be really a good idea. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling in all this data because this is all we really need to do. We'll keep putting our leaves out to the side for every data point that's in the 20s, and then I'll move down to row 3, and I'll put in all of the data that starts with the 3 or that's in the 30s, and then I'll move down to the last one and put in all the data that starts with the 4 or is in the 40s. So I will put in all this data and then show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, and here's what my stem and leaf plot now looks like. It has all of the data incorporated in it, and I adjusted the column width up there just because it was going so crazy out to the side there, but this is the last entry right here, so we can actually see the whole stem and leaf plot in here. Now, this is a little ridiculous, having a stem and leaf plot that's so, I guess you'd say, out of balance, because the first stem and leaf and the last stem and leaf are very, very short, and then the two in the middle are very, very, very long. So this is when we do something called a split stem, okay? And what happens in the split stem is we take our data and we split it into some group or category. Now, the most common one is to do 0 through 4 in the first line, and then 5 through 9 in the second line, but your data doesn't always allow for something like that. Sometimes you'll have to split it differently and do maybe 0 through 6 on the first line and then 7 through 9 on the next line. But I'm just going to do the standard half in each one of the stems. Now, the thing about the stem, when you do the split, if you're going to split a stem, and we can definitely see we want to do the 2 and the 3 because they are so very long, you have to actually do it for all of the stems in your data set, even if you don't need it. So the rule is split one stem, split them all. That means we'll have 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, and 2 4s. And like I said, in the first one, I'm going to put the 0 through 4s. And if you want, you can put a little reminder out here to the side. This is 0 through 4, and this is 5 through 9. And Excel's putting that into a date form for me there. So I'll just put a 0 through 4 down here. This will be a 0 through 4. And then this will be my 0 through 4. All right. Now remember, this 0 right here, this was 40. So I'm going to take that out. And it's going to go on this line right here. Because remember, my zeros are going to go on that first line. And then anything that was 45 through 49 is going to go on the second line. Okay. Now, in this line right here, these are my 5 through 9s. This was my 30 line. So this is going to start right here at 35. And I'm going to grab all of this data right here. And what I did was I left click and I'm dragging on it. Now I'm going to right click. I am going to cut that out of there. And I'm going to come down here to this cell. And I'm going to right click and paste that information right there. And now it's moved all my 35 through 39s down here on this line. That makes these right here, these were my 31 through 34s. And again, I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to cut that data out of there. I'm going to come right here to this cell and right click and paste it in there. And then I need to grab everything starting right here because we want to get 25 through 29. Cut all that information out. And we're going to put it right here on this line. And then this was my 20 through 24 line right here. So we're going to cut that out of there and put it with the 2 stem it belongs with. And now we've got our split stem and leaf plot right here. And one thing you might want to do, but you really don't have to, is you can actually highlight these things a little bit so that we can see what it's supposed to look like. Or put your borders on there. I'm not highlighting, I put the borders on there. And I guess I really should go all the way out to here, shouldn't I? There we go. And then if you wanted to, let's see if we can change. There we go. Now we can not quite see the whole thing in there, but this is what your stem and leaf plot is going to look like. We got our stems right here. The leaves are over here on the side. Remember, we didn't have anything higher than 16. Oh, that's in the wrong place, isn't it? That belongs on line 2. We'll have to move that one down. But this number represents 21. These are all my 21s. This number represents 23, and here's all my 23s. This one represents 24. There's all my 24s. I didn't have any 25s. If I did, they'd be down here around row 2. because remember we just did 0 through 4 on the first line and then 5 through 9 on the second line. Okay, so let's move that 6 and get it in the right place so that we have this thing correct. Alright, and that is what our stem and leaf plot and our split stem look like. Y'all, if we wanted to, we could in fact split the stems again and do it in 3s. And we could do something like 0 through 3 on the first line, and then 4 through 6, and then 7 through 9. And that would be okay too. And what that would do is it would take our plot and it would, instead of having it be very horizontal like this, it would make it a little more vertical. But the nice thing about your stem and leaf plot is we can actually see the shape of the data. And you see we're starting very close to the stems over here, and then the data kind of goes out, and then it starts to curve back in toward the stems again. And that's our stem and leaf plot.